Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our session with today's topic, email basics. This is the first slide, and it sets the stage for what we'll be exploring. We'll cover the essentials of effective email communication, including best practices and useful tips. So let's get started and make this a valuable learning experience for all of us. Let's take a look at the contents of today's presentation. We'll start with the basics of what email is and why it's so important in our digital communication. Then, we'll explore what you need to get started, including choosing an email provider and setting up your account. Once your account is ready, we'll walk through the key parts of an email, like the subject line, body, and attachments, so you know what each component does. We'll also go through the process of composing, sending, and receiving emails, which are the core functions of email communication. Later, we'll cover actions you might take with emails, such as replying, forwarding, or deleting messages, and how to properly sign off at the end of your emails. We'll discuss important topics like privacy, viruses, spam, and netiquette, how to behave politely and responsibly online. Finally, we'll look at some next steps to help you become more confident with email, and we'll have a question period to clarify anything you're curious about. Throughout this presentation, I want you to see how mastering email can make your digital interactions smoother, safer, and more effective. Let's talk about what email actually is. Email, short for electronic mail, is a way we send and receive messages over the internet. It's become an essential part of communication in both our personal and professional lives. To use email, you need to have an account set up online. Think of your email account as your digital mailbox, where messages are delivered directly to you. Throughout this presentation, we'll see how email plays a crucial role in our digital interactions and why understanding it is so important. All right, so the first thing you'll need is a computer. It's important that it has internet access because that's how you'll connect to your email and other online resources. Without internet, you won't be able to do much in this process. Next, you'll need an email account. This is essential for communication, and you can create one with popular providers like Yahoo, Gmail, or Hotmail. These are user-friendly and widely used, making it easier to stay connected. A quick note to keep in mind. Microsoft Outlook and Apple Mail are actually email applications, not email service providers. That means you can't send or receive emails directly from a library computer if you only have those programs installed, unless you have your own email account set up through a provider like Gmail or Yahoo. Connecting these points, having a computer with internet access and a proper email account are the foundational tools you'll need to stay connected, manage your communications, and make the most of the online services available. This is all part of making your digital experience smooth and efficient. All right, now let's talk about choosing an email provider. The most common ones you're probably familiar with are Hotmail, which is now part of Microsoft, Gmail from Google, and Yahoo Mail from Yahoo. Each of these has its own strengths, but for this class, we'll be using Yahoo Mail. I want you to keep in mind that selecting the right email provider is an important step because it affects how you communicate and access your information online. When choosing, consider things like ease of use, storage capacity, security features, and how well it integrates with other tools you use. For our purposes today, Yahoo Mail is a great choice because it's user-friendly and reliable, perfect for learning the basics of email management. So, as we go through the course, remember that your email provider is the foundation for your digital communication. Let's take a closer look at setting up your account, starting with the parts of an email address. An email address is made up of two main parts, the username and the domain. For example, if you see Snoopy at Yahoo.com, Snoopy is the username, and this is something you create yourself. It's important to choose a username that's unique so others don't have the same one. Next, there's the @ symbol, which is like a separator that divides the username from the domain. Think of it as the bridge between your personal identifier and the email provider. Then we have the email provider's name, which is Yahoo in this case. This is the service that handles your email. Lastly, there's the domain, which in this example is. But keep in mind, there are other options like net or org depending on the purpose or nature of your email account. Understanding these parts helps you see how email addresses are structured, which is essential when setting up your account and choosing your own email address. Let's talk about creating a strong password. It's important to choose one that's easy for you to remember but tough for others to guess. Think of a password that you can recall easily but isn't obvious. Avoid using sensitive information like your social security number or bank PIN, as those are often targeted by hackers. A great approach is to combine letters and numbers, which makes your password more secure. Remember, if you forget your password, verification questions might be needed to regain access. So always prepare for that possibility. Overall, strong passwords are a key part of protecting your personal information and staying safe online. Let's take a closer look at Yahoo.com. As one of the early giants in the internet space, Yahoo played a significant role in shaping the online experience for millions of users. It wasn't just a search engine. It was a web portal offering news, email, finance, sports, and entertainment. Really a one-stop shop for internet content in its heyday. What's important to note here is how Yahoo gradually evolved from a directory of websites into a multimedia powerhouse. However, despite its early success, it faced stiff competition from newer players like Google, which focused more on search algorithms and user experience. This slide highlights how Yahoo's approach reflects broader themes in internet history, how innovation and adaptation are crucial, but also how market dynamics and strategic decisions can influence a company's trajectory. Understanding Yahoo's story helps us see the importance of agility and user-centric design in building a lasting online presence. All right, let's walk through creating a new account on Yahoo.com. First, you'll want to click on the Create New Account button. Before you do that, make sure you have your desired username and password ready, as you'll need these to set up your account. Once you've clicked on the button, you'll see a form where you'll need to fill in several required fields. It's important to complete as many of these fields as possible to ensure your account is fully set up and secure. When you've entered all the necessary information, just click on Create New Account to finish the process. Remember, visiting Yahoo.com is the starting point for this process. This step is crucial because it allows you to access the registration page directly. By following these steps, you're taking an important step toward managing your online presence effectively. Now, let's move on to composing an email. First, click on the new button to start drafting your message. This will open up a fresh email window. Before you begin writing, make sure you have the email address of the person you're contacting ready and at hand. Having it ready will save you time and help avoid mistakes. Remember, a clear and correct email address is essential for successful communication. This step ties into our overall goal of effective digital communication. Being organized and prepared makes your message more professional and increases the chances of a prompt response. So, keep your recipient's address handy, and then you're all set to craft your message. Now, let's take a closer look at the parts of an email, starting with the to field. This is where you enter the exact email address of your recipient. Remember, it should follow the format name at provider.domain. If you're sending the same email to multiple people, separate each address with a comma. Next up is the CC field, which stands for carbon copy. When you include someone here, they receive a copy of the email, and everyone else can see who else was copied. It's useful for keeping others informed without making them the primary recipient. Then there's the BCC field, standing for blind carbon copy. This is similar to CC, but the key difference is that BCC recipients are hidden from everyone else. No one else will see that they received the email, which is handy for discreetly including someone. Finally, we have the subject line. This should be a brief and clear summary of your email's main topic. A concise subject helps your recipient understand at a glance what the email is about, setting the tone for a focused and effective message. Putting it all together, understanding these parts helps us communicate more clearly and professionally through email, which ties into our overall goal of effective digital communication. Now, let's talk about the body of the email. This is where you actually include the message you want to communicate. It's important to be clear and concise, making sure your main points come across effectively. Remember, the body is the core of your email, so it should be well-structured and easy to follow. Next, we have attachments. These are files, photos, or even other emails that you might want to include to support your message. To add these, simply use the Attach button. Including relevant attachments can provide additional context or information that your recipient might need. Overall, the key is to ensure your message is straightforward and that any attachments you add are relevant and clearly labeled. This keeps your email professional, organized, and easy to understand, which is essential for effective communication. When it comes to sending an email, it's important to remember that written correspondence can sometimes be tricky. Without body language or facial cues, messages can easily be misunderstood. That's why it's always best to err on the side of formality, paying close attention to punctuation and spelling to ensure clarity. Including a friendly greeting at the beginning and a professional closing signature at the end helps set the right tone and leaves a good impression. If you need to attach a file, the most reliable way is to use a flash drive. It's simple and secure, especially for larger files or sensitive information. And of course, before hitting send, always double-check your email by spell-checking and proofreading. This extra step helps catch any mistakes and ensures your message is polished and professional. Remember, clear and respectful communication in emails supports the overall theme of professionalism and effective interaction, which is key in any workplace setting. Now let's talk about sending the email. When you're ready, simply click on Send to mail your message. It's that straightforward. But a quick heads up, once you hit send, you can't retrieve that email, so make sure everything is perfect before you send it off. After you've sent your email, it will appear in your sent folder, which is a great way to keep track of what you've sent. It's always a good idea to check your sent box to confirm that your message was sent correctly. And don't forget to check your inbox for any BCCs you might have included. BCC, or blind carbon copy, is a useful feature if you want to keep certain recipients hidden from others. Reviewing both your sent folder and your inbox helps ensure everything went smoothly and that you're aware of all the recipients involved. This step is a key part of the overall email process, emphasizing the importance of double-checking and understanding how your message travels after you hit send. Now, let's talk about draft emails. When you're working on an email, the system automatically saves your progress periodically. This means you don't have to worry if something unexpected happens, like losing your internet connection or closing your browser accidentally. Your work is safely stored in the Drafts folder. If you ever need to pick up where you left off, just go to the Drafts box, and you'll find your saved email ready for you to continue editing or send. This feature is really useful because it helps prevent losing work and keeps your communication seamless. Remember, drafts are there to support you in maintaining efficiency and confidence while composing emails. Let's take a moment to look at receiving emails. When you check your inbox, you'll find new messages waiting for you. Each of these messages isn't just a random piece of text. It contains a header that provides important details. This header tells you who sent the message, the date it was sent, and how it was routed to reach you. These details are crucial because they help you quickly understand the context of the message and verify its authenticity. Recognizing these key elements ties back to our overall theme of understanding how information travels across networks. Being able to interpret these headers ensures you're better equipped to manage your emails securely and efficiently. All right, let's take a closer look at this example of a received email. Here, we see the sender's email address is snoopy@yahoo.com, and the recipient's is you@yahoo.com. The email is also CC'd to someone else, which is common when you want others to be in the loop. The subject line is Email Basics Class, giving a quick idea of the email's purpose. The date and time are listed as Tuesday, March 1, 2011 at 10:31 PST. This example highlights some key points about emails. First, the sender and recipient addresses are clearly displayed, which helps us understand the communication flow. The CC line shows how emails can include multiple recipients, either for informational purposes or collaboration. The subject line is important because it summarizes the email's content and helps recipients prioritize their reading. Notice the timestamp. Knowing when an email was sent is crucial for context, especially when tracking conversations or deadlines. Overall, this slide demonstrates the basic structure of an email, which is essential to understand as we explore effective email communication. Recognizing these elements helps us compose clearer emails and better interpret what we receive. All right, let's talk about replying to an email. When you see the options reply versus reply all, it's important to understand what each one does. Clicking reply sends your message only to the person who originally sent you the email. It's a direct response, perfect for one-on-one conversations. On the other hand, clicking reply all sends your message to the original sender and also to everyone who was CC'd in the original email. This is useful when your response is relevant to the entire group or team involved. But remember, always think about whether everyone needs to see your reply. Using reply all when it's not necessary can clutter inboxes and cause confusion. So the key takeaway here is to choose reply when you want to have a private conversation, and reply all when your message is important for everyone involved. This helps keep communication clear and appropriate, which ties back to our overall theme of effective email management. Let's talk about forwarding an email. When you want to share an email with someone else, you simply click the Forward button. This action opens up a new email draft that includes the original message, making it easy to pass along information. You can then specify the email addresses of the people you're sending it to in the TO field. If you want to include others for their reference, you can add their addresses in the CC, carbon copy field. This helps keep everyone in the loop. Before hitting send, it's a good idea to add your own message at the top. This way, you can provide context or clarify why you're forwarding the email. And finally, once everything looks good, your message, the recipients, and any additional comments, you just click the send button. Remember, forwarding emails is a straightforward way to share important information efficiently, and understanding these steps helps ensure your communication is clear and professional. Let's talk about opening attachments. Attachments are often photos or documents that come with an email. Now, it's important to remember that if you don't recognize or don't know the sender, you should never open the attachment. Opening unknown attachments can be risky because they might contain malware or viruses. Instead, use the Save option to save the attachment to your device and then review it carefully. Or, if you need to see what's inside quickly, you can use the Open option, but only if you trust the sender. The key takeaway here is to be cautious. Always think before opening attachments, especially from unfamiliar sources. This helps keep your devices and information safe and secure. Once you've finished reading an email, it's important to decide whether you want to keep it or get rid of it. If you choose to delete, simply click the Delete button, and the email will be moved to the trash can, which is your delete folder. Keep in mind that deleting an email doesn't mean it's gone forever right away. It just moves to the trash. The email will actually disappear from your inbox, but it remains in the trash until you exit the program or empty the trash. This is a crucial step in managing your inbox efficiently and keeping it organized. Remember, deleting emails when they're no longer needed helps you stay focused on the messages that matter most. Let's talk about netiquette, which is essentially the etiquette we should follow when communicating online. You might have come across common abbreviations like BTW, which stands for by the way, or LOL, meaning laugh out loud. These shortcuts help us communicate quickly, but it's important to use them appropriately. Emoticons, also known as smileys, are another key aspect of online communication. They can really add emotion and clarity to our messages, making our intentions more understandable and our tone friendlier. Overall, understanding and applying netiquette helps us communicate effectively and respectfully in digital spaces, reinforcing the importance of good manners in our online interactions. This ties into the larger theme of responsible digital communication that runs throughout this presentation. Let's talk about privacy, viruses, and spam. When it comes to privacy, it's important to understand the difference between CC and BCC. CC, or carbon copy, lets everyone see who else received the email, which is fine for transparency. But BCC, or blind carbon copy, keeps recipients hidden, helping protect people's privacy. So use BCC when you want to keep email addresses confidential. Now, safety is also critical. Never send personal financial information through email. Email isn't always secure, and you don't want your sensitive info falling into the wrong hands. Always be cautious with what you share online. Moving on to viruses, never open attachments from unknown senders. These can contain malware that can harm your device or steal your information. If you don't recognize the sender, it's best to delete or ignore the message. And about spam, which is unsolicited commercial email or just unwanted messages. It clutters your inbox and can be dangerous. Make sure to delete spam and report it in your spam box, like on Yahoo. Doing this helps keep your inbox cleaner and more secure. Remember, these practices are key to maintaining your online safety and privacy. They support the overall goal of being responsible and secure digital users. Now let's talk about chatting. Chatting is all about real-time communication, which means messages are exchanged instantly without any noticeable delay. It's usually done with people you already know and interact with online, like friends, family, or colleagues. Because it's so immediate, it allows for quick conversations and instant responses. However, it's important to be selective about who you chat with. Not everyone has your best interests in mind, and some conversations can lead to misunderstandings or even security risks. So, always think about your comfort level and trustworthiness before engaging in a chat. In the broader context of digital communication, chatting is a powerful tool for staying connected and collaborating effectively. But, like all tools, it should be used wisely to protect your privacy and ensure meaningful interactions. All right, now let's talk about something really important, signing out. It might seem like a small step, but it's actually a crucial part of maintaining your security and protecting your information. When you finish your session, always make sure to sign out properly. This ensures that no one else can access your account or data after you leave. It's especially important if you're using shared or public devices. Just closing the browser or window isn't enough, because your session might still be active. Signing out properly ends that session securely. Remember, this step connects to the overall theme of staying safe and responsible online. Taking that extra moment to sign out properly helps prevent unauthorized access and keeps your information secure. So always make it a habit. Sign out every time you're done. It's a simple but powerful way to protect yourself. All right, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize the importance of always signing off your account before shutting down your device. This might seem like a small step, but it's crucial for maintaining your privacy and security. When you sign off, you ensure that no unauthorized person can access your personal information or work data. It's a simple habit that helps protect your accounts from potential security breaches. Remember, this practice ties into the overall theme of staying safe and responsible online. So, make it a routine to log out properly every time you finish your session before turning off your device. It's a quick step that can save you a lot of trouble down the line. All right, as we wrap up, let's talk about the next steps. First, I encourage you to visit the computer coaches during most library hours. They're here to help you with any questions or challenges you might encounter along the way. Remember, they're a valuable resource to support your learning journey. Secondly, don't forget that we're here to help you succeed. If you're unsure about anything or need further assistance, just reach out. And to make sure you get the most out of your visits, please call ahead at 714-842-4481, extension 6, to confirm the hours. Finally, I want to wish you the best of luck. Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it. You've got this.